You've touched on a bit between the age of 18 and say 25. When did you know you were good enough? When did you believe you were good enough to make it as an entrepreneur? When you shifted from...
Well, I started the day I was 22 in business. So when I was selling that real estate, he had an auction business on the side he'd started because he wasn't selling any real estate. And I looked at that and I thought, I can make a go of that. And so I went and saw a guy I knew, he's an old mate of mine, and his father had just died and he left him a bit of money. And I said to him, you want to go into business? We'll start an auction house, sell second hand, buy second hand. So we agreed to, we opened up. And from first day, it was like, it was just went off. And so we used to buy second hand anything, electrical, furniture, whatever, and have an auction every Saturday.
This is Norman Ross?
No, it was Harvey Norman.
Straight in?
Yeah, it was called Harvey Norman. It opened in October 1961. So that was called Harvey Norman. And it went right off. And then it went so well that I found another bloke and we opened a shop in Neutral Bay called Norman Ross. And so that went off. But that was all new stuff. It was all new furniture, electrical. And then we just kept opening new shops, and they were called Norman Ross, not Harvey Norman, but the first one stayed as Harvey Norman. Then 5, 6, 7 years later, we changed that to Norman Ross, and then that opened in 61, and we went public in 1972, and anyone that bought shares in the company multiplied their money by 15 times in 10 years, from 72 to 82, and in 1982 I sold out. I think we sold for 23 million or something like that, which was a lot of money in 1982. And then I started again. I went back and saw if the Harvey Norman name had ever been registered again. It hadn't. So I thought, I'll go back to Harvey Norman. And opened up as Harvey Norman in 1982. And this time, after 21 years of experience, running a company, I thought, I'll go and just open a couple of shops. I didn't actually have in mind to do what I did. So I opened a shop, then I opened another one, and then all of a sudden I thought, oh, here we go. So I thought, why am I doing this? And because I didn't go, in 1982, I didn't go in to think I'm going to open 100 or 200 shops or something. So it just happened. I thought it was, I can't stop. So that shop goes well, open the third one, fourth one, fifth one, and it just kept going. So from 1982, so in 1987, which was only 5 years later, I looked and I think, hell, this is a lot easier than the first time. I'm a lot smarter. I know, I'm 42. I'm 21 years ahead of where I was. And so in 1987, we went public, and then turned $1 into over $100 from 1987 to 2000. We were the fastest growing company in Australian history. We outperformed every other company, public company on the stock exchange in Australia between 1987 and 2000. If I tell you how in 13 years you can turn $1 into over 100, you're going to put $1 with me, aren't you? And when I do it for you, you're going to say, mate, he's the best friend I've ever had. So, and that's what happened. And so it was amazing, but I didn't set out to do it. I mean, I can't say to you that that's what I was going to do. I'd already done it. I've been proved that I was, when I was 40, people would say, this guy's one of the best retailers in the country. They used to say that, and it was probably true. So. But this time around I had a lot more knowledge and that helped me a lot. So it was 21 years of business knowledge. And so, by the time I was 30, I was always the youngest top businessman anywhere in the country practically. So everywhere I went, I'm the youngest guy in town. And because everyone else is 40 to 60. And so, it comes as some great shock to me now that when I go out anywhere, I'm the oldest guy in town. But you know, because you're dealing at a very young age, between 20 and 30, with all the top people, that's the big gain. That's where when you look back, you think, that was so important between 20 and 30 that I was mixing with all those people.